Grandma, this looks like I'm looking at a whole meal.
I'm telling you.
Woo.
I'm going to have a lot going on this morning, and I'm probably going to do this in two parts. I'm probably going to do my meat, and then I'm probably going to do my sides in two different parts. But we are going to have crunchy, crushed Parmesan Brussels sprouts this morning. We've got twice stuffed sweet potatoes, and I'm going to show y'all how I do pork chops two ways. I'm going to do them in the oven, and I'm going to do some in my air fryer. So it takes the potatoes about an hour to cook. So I'm going to get them in the oven first. And what I do, I've washed my potatoes, and I always put some oil on my potatoes, always, to keep that skin from being so dry. And I tried to get my potatoes all about the same size. I'm going to wash this grease off my hands. That was just olive oil. Now, I've got my oven set for 375, and I always put foil or something in my dish where I'm cooking my sweet potatoes, because sometimes some of that sugar cooks out of your sweet potatoes and it makes a mess in your dish. So I always try to put foil or something in mine. And I'm going to set this for an hour. Well, I'm going to set it for 50 minutes, and then I'll check them after that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is my pork chops. And I'm going to wrap these in bacon. I'm going to season them first. Wipe my hands. And I've got 4 pork chops here. I had a pork loin, and I cut these thick because I'm going to cook them in the oven. That's about an inch. That's probably 3/4 of an inch. Probably 3/4 of an inch. There's one bigger than the other, but that's all right because I'm going to cook them to an internal temperature of like 165 or 70. So the way I do my pork chops is, now this is everyday seasoning. I get it from Trader Joe's. It's a really, really good seasoning. So I'm just going to, I'm going to do salt first, because I don't think there's salt in that seasoning. There's one everything bagel seasoning, but this one is everyday seasoning. So and it's a really, really good seasoning. So that's hard to do. It's caught up in there. Okay. All right. Scratch that one. That's okay. I'll go to my trusted potato slayer, because I've got to work on that one. The grinder is, I really wanted to use that one, but it's okay. I'll use my potato slayer. And so y'all know I've used this one before. I get it at Walmart. Wonderful, wonderful seasoning. So I'll just use it this morning. I just won't put as much as I do sometimes because I don't want it that spicy. So if at first you don't succeed, there's always another way. So, so if you're in your kitchen and something goes wrong, hey, so what? There's always another way of doing things. Okay, now I've got my salt. I've got my potato slayer. Now I take a piece of bacon, and I'm going to wrap my, and as I wrap, I pull. And I think it's going to take 2 pieces of bacon for each one of these, because these are big, thick pork chops.
I don't know I can afford 2 pieces of bacon for each.
We are today. So, all right, that's 2 pieces of bacon on that one. Now, sometimes your bacon will really stretch, and if it does, then, 1 piece. But this bacon is so lean. It's great value bacon, but it is so lean till you can't, it's just going to take, you can't stretch it like you could if it was just, if it had more fat in it. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap this one. Now this one is smaller, so I may be able to just get one piece of bacon on it. Let's see, because this one's not quite as, let me do this one. And then I might take half a piece and put on that other one, on that smaller one. Okay. And I'm not going to season my bacon, because bacon is bacon. I mean, what else can you do with bacon? So it's seasoned well enough. I'm going to spread this one out, so I'll just use one piece of bacon on it. Okay. Now, I've got that in my dish, and I'm going to try to position them where they're not touching, because I want them to have plenty of room to cook. Now, these are probably, I'll cook these 25 or 30 minutes. I'll keep checking the temperature, the internal temperature, so I'll let you know how long it takes. So I'll put those in my oven, and it's on 375. So now we're going to do some Brussels sprouts. They're called, let me see what they're called. They're called Parmesan smashed crispy Brussels sprouts. All right, now I have already cleaned these, and as you can see, they have some darker outer leaves on them. So I just pull that off, and these are fresh Brussels sprouts. You can use frozen ones, but the fresh ones are so good. So I just pull all this outside. Honey, if you can come up here closer where they can see these darker green leaves. Okay, I just pull that off like that, and pull these off. You can see where they turn dark. Okay. And I always do this with my fresh Brussels sprouts, because those older leaves, they aren't good anyway. They're a little bitter. So if I can get that one. It's stuck on there pretty good. Okay. Now this one. And these are different sizes, but I'm going to put them in boiling water, and I've got salt in my water. And I'm going to put these in boiling water for 7 to 8 minutes until they get tender. Then I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to smash them with a glass. And then I'm going to put salt and Parmesan cheese on them. I'm going to stick them in a 400-degree oven for like 10 minutes. And that way they should be crisp and crunchy. So, honey, if you'll come around here, I've got my water boiling. And I've got a bowl of ice water here. I'm going to put them down in that ice water to cool them off a little bit, and to stop the cooking, and so they'll keep their really pretty green color. Okay. All right.
Y'all be good in there.
Hey Siri, set timer for 8 minutes.
8 minutes, counting down.
Okay, I've got my my phone with the time.
All right.
Okay, I took my Brussels sprouts out. I put them in my ice water, and I let them cool. Matter of fact, there's a piece of ice. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little glass right here, and I'm going to smash them real flat. And I'm going to lay them. And I've got my pan. Whoop! I'm going to mash them real flat. I've got my pan sprayed. So just mash them just as flat as you can. I'm going to do it on this paper towel because it's putting water in my pan and I don't want water in there. So I'll just do it right over here. Mash them real flat, and you're mashing all that water out that you can get out, because you don't want all that water in your Brussels sprouts. It keeps them from getting crisp. So, all right, and there's a lot of water coming out, so that's the reason it's best to do it on a paper towel so it'll absorb all that water. Okay, and these are really, really good, y'all. Really good. Just mash them as flat as you can and get that water out. Yeah, it takes a minute. Okay. Whoop! It's a good thing it didn't go flying across the kitchen. Which it very well could have. So, I could have got a bigger glass, but I thought this one would work. Okay. It's kind of hard mashing these, but you'll get it done. Okay, I'm gonna. Now, their little ones are really easy to mash. It's just these bigger ones that. So, if you have your choice, and sometimes you can get Brussels sprouts in the little individual ones. If you have your choice, pick the smaller ones, because the smaller ones will get crisper and they'll mash out flatter. Okay, baby, there's the mail lady. I think you got another package.
You think I've got another package?
Who's got the package? Okay.
They had to put another driver on this route because of Rose.
Oh, okay. That's our Brussels sprouts. And I'm going to try to mash these a little bit more right here. Whoops. Well, I'm just going to leave it alone.
Do it
Now,
on that slick pan.
what I'm going to do is coat them with olive oil. And this is my little handy dandy little sprayer I use with my air fryer when I spray olive oil with my air fryer. Now I'm going to put a little salt. I salted my water whenever I was cooking them, but I put a little salt on them because it's not enough. Now,
What is this?
this is pork rind crumbs. Same thing, some companies call it pork rind panko. If you are not gluten-free, you can use panko crumbs, which is a Japanese breadcrumb. Or, like me, I'm gluten-free and I can't use that. So I use panko crumbs. It's just crushed up pork rind. And this is the Cajun style here, which I really like because it's just got a little spice in it. Really, really good. But like I say, if you're not gluten-free, you can use panko crumbs. It just gives it an extra little crispness, a little extra crunchy. Okay.
So instead of Italian seasoning, you're using Cajun seasoning.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Italian on
And
these
so it's
anyway.
Parmesan Cajun seasoning.
Yes.
That really is what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going Parmesan cheese. I'm going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on it. Now, I would cook these on 425 degrees for like 10 or 15 minutes to crisp them up, but I have my potatoes in the oven. So I'm going to put them there, it's on 375. So it's going to take about probably 20 minutes for these to crisp up because my oven is not as hot as I would put it if there was nothing else in my oven. So I'm going to put these in my oven. And I'm going to check my potatoes. Woo. Okay, that one is still not soft. So I'm gonna let my potatoes stay in about 10 more minutes. And then I'll crank my oven up to like 425 for my Brussels sprouts. So be back in a minute.
All right.
Okay. This is what my Brussels sprouts look like right here.
Oh, beautiful.
Aren't they pretty?
They're pretty.
Okay.
Green.
All right. I'm gonna get a little fork. I think that'll be better to take them out with. No, I'll get a spoon because I don't want to tear them up when I take them out. And as they sit and as they cool, they're going to, they're not really crunchy right now, but when they sit and cool down a little bit, they are going to be, kind of crisp. I don't think they're going to get crunchy because Brussels sprouts have a lot of water in them. So, but I do think they're going to get like crisp instead of crunchy.
But you could leave them in an oven just drying if you wanted to, I guess,
Yeah,
couldn't you?
you could if you want them, yeah. But you don't want to get your coatings, you don't want to burn them either.
No, I meant
But
after
yeah,
the
after
oven.
you turn your oven
Turn
off,
your oven off.
you
Yeah.
could leave them in there and they would get crisper and crunchier. But they are delicious like this. And let me tell you, after I put them in the oven, I took them out and I put a little cayenne pepper because that Cajun seasoning was not as spicy as what we wanted. So I just sprinkle a little cayenne pepper over them. Okay, we're gonna taste of these in a second. And I didn't. I forgot to spray my pan with oil. Y'all spray your pan with not. They're coming up pretty good, but as you can see, a lot of my seasoning's stuck. So always spray your. But I had so much going on this morning, to Lord mercy. So spray your pan with non-stick cooking spray. Woo. These really look good.
This is the first time you've ever cooked this, and
Yes.
this is good.
It is. Wow. These look so good. I'm so excited because I love Brussels sprouts. That one. Okay, they're sticking just a little bit, but that's okay. They're coming up. Uh-oh, I'm going to have to eat that one.
Won't
It
that be?
really stuck.
Won't that be bad
Oh, yeah.
to have to
In
eat
fact,
that?
I'm fixing to eat it. Oh my. It is, that coating on it makes it crunchy. It's crunchy on the outside, but a little bit soft in the middle. Wow. Y'all, that is so good. And with those panko, with those pork rind crumbs on them, man, that puts them to another,
Cajun
a
seasoning.
whole nother level.
It does.
It's the pork rind Cajun. And so if you don't have that and you have a little Cajun seasoning, you might can sprinkle that on there, but the pork rind gives it a little coating. And I think you can get them at Kroger, but I order mine from Amazon. So, y'all.
Now, if you don't have any of that, you just use Parmesan cheese. Is that what you do?
No, it's got Parmesan cheese on it.
I meant if you
If
don't
you're
have
not
any of the
gluten free,
seasoning.
you can use panko crumbs or you can use breadcrumbs or whatever. But I'm gluten free, so I can't have any of that. So I use the pork rind crumbs in the place of panko crumbs. But you can use panko crumbs and they'll work just as well. So now, my pork chops. The internal temperature is 170, 75.
Oh, my.
Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, the original recipe that I came up with is now after you take them out of the oven, you put either apricot preserves, peach preserves, your favorite preserve over them. but can't have the sugar. So I can have just a little bit of honey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and spread just a little bit of honey over one of them, not all of them. This is just showing you how you can do. But now if you're not sugar free, just get you some preserves, spread over them. And if you are, they have sugar-free preserves in the grocery store. So you just, and I've used those before, I just don't happen to have any in the pantry right now. Okay, so that's the one with honey.
You could probably use some of your sugar-free syrups if they wanted to.
Yeah.
She's got videos on how to make sugar-free syrup and to make this sugar-free cranberry sauce she's about to talk about.
Okay, now, this is my sugar-free cranberry sauce right here.
Very nutritious.
And what I'm going to do,
You wouldn't.
because it is a little sweet. I've got sweetener in it. So I'm going to put this over. It's tart, it's sweet, it's delicious. And we eat it with so many things. So I'm going to put some of this over it. And I'm going to do 3 of them because we absolutely, and this is low carb, it's sugar-free, gluten-free. This dish is, these pork chops are, because they have no flour coating, no nothing on them. And I put in a good bit because we really, and I found cranberries. You can't always find cranberries, but I found them the other day and I got about 10 packs. I keep them in the freezer. So, because we use them year round, but they're hard to find now.
But they're good like this, and they're good like a salad dressing. They are so versatile.
Salad dressings. All right, I'm going to put this back in the oven and leave it for about 10 minutes, just so that the honey and the cranberry sauce kind of glazes over. So. And my potatoes aren't quite ready, so when they get ready, I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. But now, honey, if you'll come right here, I'm going to show them how I'm going to do some air fryer pork chops. I've got my potato slayer season and I've got salt on them. So this is that Cajun pork rind. So I just coat them like this on each side. And I use a spoon so I don't contaminate everything with my hands. All right. Now, I'm going to put them in like this. And when they come out, I'm going to put seasonings on the other side. But right now, I'm just going to do it on one side. So I'm putting them in my air fryer. And these are kind of thick, so I'm going to do them 4 minutes on 400 degrees. And after the 4 minutes, I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to put more seasoning on the other side, and I'm going to cook them 3 more minutes, and they'll be done. So, all right, that's my air fryer pork chops. Now what we're waiting on is just for my pork chops to glaze over and my potatoes to get done. And then we're going to fix those. So be back.
All right.
Okay, this is what it looks like. Right here. I put it on another minute, so this was 5 minutes. So you see how dry that crust is getting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm going to put some panko crumbs, or my pork rind crumbs, on this side. And some of the juice is cooked out, so it's going to make these crumbs stick really good. Okay. And I like a lot of crumbs on mine.
And they don't waste because she gets them out of the bottom of the
I do.
pan.
I get the ones that fall off, I just get them out and put them on top. Okay, so I'm going to do this 400 degrees, and I'm going to do it on 4 minutes because these are thick. These are kind of thick, and then they'll be ready. So be right back. Whew. Man, that's hot. Okay, my potatoes are done. And what I'm doing, I'm scooping. I was very careful when I opened them up. I split them down the middle. And I'm being very careful with them. And I'm getting some of the inside, most of the inside out. And I'm going to put them in my dish here. They're still real hot. Try to be careful not to break, and I'm breaking some of this. It's splitting a little bit, but try to be careful not to split it any more than you possibly can. And you will leave a little bit of it in there, okay? So now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to leave it open just like that. All right, now I'm going to finish doing these, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next step.
All right.
Okay, I've got all my, or most of my potato out, and you never can control your potato peelings. This one was, even though I oiled them, this one broke a little bit, but that's okay. It's going to be fine. All right, into this, I'm going to put like, all right, I'm going to put a whole half stick of butter, because butter and sweet potatoes just go together. I mean, goodness. And this potato is still really hot, so my butter's going to melt. Now, into this, let me get my recipe. Okay, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I've got that right here. I got a half a teaspoon, so I just put 2 of these. Okay? Ooh, I don't know, that's probably a lot of cinnamon. I'll put 3/4 of a teaspoon, because that just looked like a lot of cinnamon. And I'm just mashing it with my fork. Now, it calls for 4 teaspoons of sweetener. I've got 2 teaspoons of brown monk fruit and 2 teaspoons of pure cane. Both of those are sugar alternatives. So, all right. I'm going to kind of mix this up a little bit. And what we're going to do, we're going to stuff these potatoes. Put them back in these potatoes. And put them back in there. I've got a coating I'm going to put on them. And then we're going to put them in the oven for a minute. All right. Now, let me get that butter all melted. Gently peel back the scoop out bowl, making sure not to break the skin, which I did on one of them. Leave a little in the bottom and the sides. That makes them more stable. Add butter, cinnamon, and salt. And I'll do a little bit of salt, just a little bit, because you know sweet and salty go together. Okay. So I did the butter, cinnamon, and salt. Okay, mix this all up. As soon as I get this butter melted. I'm going to taste of it though to make sure it's sweet enough, because if it's not, I'm going to add some more sweetener to it. Because sometimes your sweeteners doesn't make it as sweet as your sugar does. Okay. It sure smells good. Whew. Smells real good. All right, I'm going to taste of it. Oh my. That's good. But I am going to put another 2 teaspoons of my pure cane sugar alternative in there. And I'm going to, boy, that is delicious. You can really taste that butter. You can taste the cinnamon. That is so good. Now, okay. I'm going to stuff one of these, and then we'll cut the camera off to keep this video from being so long. And when I get them all stuffed, then I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do with my topping. So let me go ahead and get okay, I'll go ahead and stuff. You just kind of open your potato and you put your mixture And I want to get that skin back out. Okay. Now, I don't want to put too much that I don't have enough to, I think I'm putting too much in there. Maybe not. All right. Okay, I'm going to finish filling these two and then I'll be back. Okay, I got my potatoes stuffed. And now we're going to make the topping for it. And our topping is 4 teaspoons of maple syrup. This is sugar-free now. It's called Choc Zero, C-H-O-C, Z-E-R-O, Choc Zero. And a little bit for good measure, okay? And I am going to put, all right, this is clean because I just had cinnamon. I'm going to put 4 teaspoons of my pure cane sugar alternative in there. And I'm going to stir that up real good, like this. Now, if y'all don't think this is good, now I'm telling you, I've never made it. This is my first time, but I've been tasting of this, and it is, wow, it is so good. Now, it calls for a 1/2 cup of pecans. I'm not sure I'm going to put a 1/2 cup. A 1/2 cup just looks like a lot to me, but it says put it on, oh, why not? It says put it on real thick. So, you just take and stir your sweetener and your maple syrup around in there. And I'm going to put a little bit more maple syrup. So that was probably, it said 4 teaspoons. That was probably 2.5 tablespoons. So, because I want mine to be real good. All right. Now, what you do is you just take, and it said put it on thick. You put it on the top like this. And I'm going to do it in
Whoa.
a little bit at the time.
Coming
because
together
I wanna
now,
make
isn't
sure,
it?
Oh yeah. I want to make sure I have enough. And it said real thick. Now when it says thick, I believe in thick. So, that's the reason it called for a 1/2 cup of pecans. All right, and I've got my oven set on 375. So I'm putting this in my oven on 375. I think it said 10 minutes. Let me see. Stir your sweetener. Will not come. Okay, spread it thickly. Okay, I think 10 minutes is what I read somewhere. We're gonna try it 10 minutes, and then if that doesn't work, we're gonna try it 15 minutes. So you just want to toast your pecans a little bit and get your, I know, honey.
What is this, a torture chamber?
Isn't this crazy? And y'all, there's no sugar in this. There's no sugar in the maple syrup. There's no sugar in the sweetener that I use. And potatoes, you know what? They are really good for you.
Lots of fiber.
Lots of fiber. I eat potatoes maybe once every 2 weeks. But
Sweet potatoes.
sweet potatoes, not white potatoes. I don't eat white potatoes at all. But
Well, in our food culture, sweet potatoes are acceptable
yes.
on occasion. That's what we eat them on occasion.
Now, when I eat a sweet potato from now on, you better believe this is, because nuts, pecans, man, they are good for you.
Ooh.
I'm going to put this in the oven for like, oh my,
Honey, you better get it in the oven or you're going to eat it.
oh my, Okay. Now, I'm going to put it in the oven for like 10 or 15 minutes. But I better set the timer. I put it on 15. So, all right, when we come back, I'm going to show you all this food that I've made today. And I am so hungry. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm starving. So, I'm going to have a good lunch in just a few minutes. Okay, this I thought I had the camera on and I didn't. This is Roy's plate. And as you can see, he's got the panko crumbs, the pork rind pork chops, the honey glazed pork chops, the cranberry sauce sugar-free pork chops, our Cajun Parmesan crusted crunchy Brussels sprouts, and our pecan coated twice stuffed sweet potato. So now Roy is fixing to taste and see how everything tastes.
Oh, it smells so good.
He's so long-waisted. It's so hard for me to get him his whole head when he's trying to taste. I can't get the food in his head because
Ooh, that cranberry topping.
is that good?
Sugar-free and delicious.
Okay, give me the sweet potato. That's what I am really.
Wait a minute, I'm enjoying this up. Wow.
That's a whole new level to the sweet potato, isn't it? And that Cajun
That is delicious.
Parmesan crusted Brussels sprout. Is it a winner?
That is a winner.
Okay. Y'all, I wish y'all were here eating lunch with us.
This is delicious.
If you knocked on my door right now, I'd say, y'all please come in. I have a delicious lunch for y'all to sit down and eat with me. So, thank y'all.
I wouldn't. I'd say stand outside till I get through.
Please subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell, and share this video with someone. This would be a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday. Any of these in addition to your holiday table, especially those sweet potatoes. Okay, I love y'all. And the sugar-free cranberry coated pork chop. So I love y'all. I'll see you next time.